Our daily lives are full of distractions, endless tasks, the expectations of others, and that constant pressure to always be productive, always present, always meeting the demands that the world around us imposes. Amidst this chaos, life feels like a whirlwind of commitments, as if we're always chasing something that never arrives. But what few realize is that this relentless pursuit pulls us away from what matters most: the connection with ourselves. Each little distraction, whether it's that notification on your phone, the never-ending to-do list, or the need to please others, is an invisible obstacle that slowly distances us from our essence. These external distractions work as a form of silent sabotage. When we're so focused on meeting external demands, we neglect our inner world. Life becomes a frantic dance where the focus is always outward and never inward. And in this dance, we lose ourselves. But there is a way out, and it lies in small pauses. Moments of stillness in the middle of the daily rush. Conscious pauses where you ask yourself, how am I really feeling right now? What does my soul need in this moment? These self-check-ins are the key to ensuring that the external noise doesn't take over your inner journey. It's a simple but powerful practice that helps you remember who you are, regardless of what the world expects from you. Have you ever stopped to think that your emotions might be messengers from your soul? Anxiety, fear, joy, all these sensations are doors to your higher self. You just need to listen to them closely. Emotions, often seen as a burden or something to be controlled, are actually an inner compass, pointing to areas of our lives that need attention and healing. When we feel anxious, it's not just an automatic response to an external situation. It's our deeper self trying to show us something, perhaps an unresolved fear, an unmet expectation, or even an unfulfilled desire. The key is to understand that our emotions are not our enemies but our guides. However, we tend to react to them impulsively. If we feel anger, that anger often gets expressed immediately and sometimes uncontrollably. If we feel fear, we retreat without understanding why. But there's a different way to handle them. Instead of reacting automatically, we can start to listen to our emotions as signals of what's happening within us. Emotions are like the wind blowing before a storm, warning us that something needs to be faced, and if we pay attention, we can learn a great deal from them. Negative emotions like fear, sadness, and insecurity are particularly powerful. These are the emotions we most often avoid, but paradoxically, they have the most to teach us. Fear, for example, can show us where we're disconnected from our truth, where we're drifting away from what we truly want or who we truly are. Instead of fighting these emotions, we can embrace them as teachers, understanding that by exploring these feelings, we find valuable clues for our growth. A powerful practice for this process is keeping an emotional journal. Every day, take a few minutes to note down how you're feeling. It doesn't have to be long or complicated. Simply write, "Today I feel anxious," or "I feel a sadness I don't know the source of." Over time, this journal will become an emotional map, revealing patterns and insights about what your emotions are trying to teach you. It's an invitation to look more deeply within and understand that each emotion, positive or negative, is an opportunity for self-awareness. Your body is not just a vehicle for life. It is the physical manifestation of your spiritual essence. When we take care of the body, we unlock the mind and awaken the spirit. We live in an age where the body is often treated like a machine, something to be kept running, sometimes with little care, just to get through daily obligations. But the truth is, our body is so much more than that. It is the gateway to the mind and spirit. When we pay attention to the body, when we nourish it, listen to its needs, and respect its limits, we create a powerful bridge to connect with our deepest essence. Practices like yoga, tai chi, or even simple conscious breathing are ways to align the body with the mind and spirit. They teach us to see the body not as something separate from who we are, but as an extension of our inner energy. When you move with intention, when you breathe with awareness, you are giving your inner self permission to emerge. The body becomes a reflection of your spiritual journey, and each movement or conscious breath is a step closer to your truth. Additionally, physical care, through balanced nutrition, restorative sleep, and regular movement, is fundamental to the balance of mind and spirit. What we put into our bodies directly affects how we think and feel. Fresh, nutrient-rich foods not only provide us with energy but also help us maintain a clear mind and a deeper connection with our higher self. A rested body is a body that can listen, feel, and be guided by inner wisdom. A simple but incredibly powerful exercise is the practice of conscious breathing. Pause for a moment right now and take a deep breath. Feel the air entering through your nostrils, filling your lungs, and then gently releasing it. Repeat this a few times with full awareness. This simple practice of observing the breath begins to reconnect you with your body and, consequently, with your deeper essence. The body is the anchor that keeps us present, and when we are present, we can more easily connect with our inner self. Silence is the space where your soul finds the freedom to express itself. When we silence the world around us, we finally hear the voice of the higher self that has always been there. In a noisy world where we are constantly connected to external sounds, whether it's the noise of busy streets, the incessant notifications from our phones, or even the chatter of our own minds, silence becomes a true rarity. However, it is in silence that we find one of the greatest doors to self-knowledge. When you allow yourself to be in silence, you create space for your soul to speak. And what it has to say is something you cannot hear amidst the chaos. Silence, often undervalued, is a powerful tool for introspection. It's not just about isolating yourself or being without words. True silence is an active pause, a moment of pure presence where you turn off the external and internal noise and simply listen. And it is in this listening that you begin to perceive what really matters, what your soul has been trying to tell you but that you've been too busy to hear. Eastern traditions understand the value of silence. In many philosophies, silence is not just an absence of sound but a form of active meditation. In Zen, for example, silence is the means by which self-knowledge is attained. It is through silence that the mind finds clarity and the heart finds peace. Silence is where the answers we seek in the external world are revealed within us. A practice that can transform your connection with silence is to set aside 5 minutes each day just to be with yourself, without distractions. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and simply listen. Don't try to control your thoughts or force silence. Just allow yourself to be present. Over time, these 5 minutes can expand into deeper moments of connection, and you will begin to realize that the quieter you become, the more your soul speaks. The people you keep close are a reflection of what you believe you deserve. They can push you to grow or hold you in the past. The secret is in consciously choosing who you want by your side on your journey of awakening. The relationships we cultivate throughout life play a profound role in our journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth. Each person we choose to keep around us functions as a mirror, reflecting our deepest beliefs, our values, and even our fears. And just as the mirror shows our own image, relationships show us parts of ourselves we might prefer to ignore or hide. When we are surrounded by people who support us, who believe in our potential and encourage us to be our most authentic selves, we feel more connected to our true selves. These are the relationships that propel us, that help us grow and align us with our essence. But on the other hand, there are also those relationships that drag us down, that drain our energy and keep us stuck in old behavioral patterns. These bonds can be hard to identify and even harder to break, as they are often rooted in long-standing ties or feelings of guilt or obligation. It's important to set healthy boundaries and consciously choose who we want by our side on this journey of awakening. Toxic relationships, those that constantly make us doubt ourselves, make us feel small or insufficient, are significant barriers to our connection with the higher self. Learning to step away from these relationships is not an act of selfishness but one of self-love and respect for our own evolution. Reflecting on our relationships is an essential step in understanding whether they are promoting our growth or keeping us stagnant. Pause now and think about the people closest to you. Are they encouraging you to be who you truly are? Are they supporting you on your journey of awakening? Or do you feel trapped by expectations and energies that pull you away from your truth? Allowing yourself to ask these questions can be uncomfortable, but it is also liberating. Surrounding yourself with people who resonate with your authenticity is like lighting a flame that illuminates your entire being. In nature, we find the perfect mirror of our soul. Its seasons, its cycles, its calm, everything is in harmony with who we are within. Nature does not rush, but always moves forward. Nature, with its serene beauty and unbroken cycles, offers us profound wisdom about life and self-awareness. In each passing season, in the calm of forests and the flow of rivers, we see reflected the same processes that happen within us. Nature reminds us that everything has its time, the time to bloom, the time to rest, the time to be reborn. And in this slow, continuous rhythm, we find a great metaphor for our own spiritual journey. Often disconnected from the natural world, we rush in search of immediate results. We want fast growth, we want instant answers. But nature teaches us that true awakening is a process, a journey. Just as trees take years to reach their full maturity, we too need time to discover and grow. The beauty is in the journey, not in the rush to reach the destination. Simple practices like forest bathing, known as Shinrin-yoku in Japan, help us reconnect with this natural wisdom. It's as simple as walking through a park, a forest, or even a garden, allowing yourself to be present and absorb the energies of the environment. Turn off your phone, breathe deeply, observe the sway of the trees, the sound of the wind, or the song of birds. This small gesture can be incredibly transformative, as it pulls us out of the busy mind and brings us back to the present, where our higher self resides. Nature also teaches us about the cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Just as leaves fall in autumn to make way for new growth in spring, we need to learn to let go of what no longer serves us so that something new can bloom in our lives. This natural cycle reflects our own need for continuous transformation, for letting go of the past, limiting beliefs, and even parts of ourselves that have fulfilled their purpose. Spending time in nature is a simple but profound way to reconnect with our essence, and it doesn't require big trips or adventures. It could be a short walk through your neighborhood park or a moment of observing the sky or plants around you. The important thing is that, in these moments, you are present. It is in this presence that the natural world reflects back your own truth, and you begin to remember who you really are. True wisdom comes from recognizing that time is both our greatest ally and our greatest enemy. When we live in the present, time expands. But when we are stuck in the past or anxious about the future, time imprisons us. Our relationship with time is paradoxical. We spend much of our lives running against it, trying to do as much as possible in the shortest period, yet often feel that time slips through our fingers. When we hold on to the past, reliving pains and regrets, or feel anxious about what is to come, time becomes a prison. Our days turn into a constant race, where there's no space to breathe, reflect, or simply be. But there is a simple and powerful truth. The present is the only moment that truly exists. When we anchor ourselves in the now, time suddenly seems to expand. It's as if it slows down, allowing us to notice details we previously missed. When we are truly present, we find inner peace because we are no longer fighting against time, we are flowing with it. The concept of slow living arises precisely as a response to this relentless acceleration. It's not about doing less, but about doing with more intention, with more awareness. Imagine performing your daily tasks, like preparing a meal, walking, or even talking to someone, with full presence. This means not thinking about what you still need to do or what you left undone, but being completely focused on what is happening now. When you adopt this mindset, every moment becomes an opportunity for clarity and purpose. The practice of mindfulness can be a valuable tool for training our minds to live more in the present. And you don't need hours of meditation for this. You can start with something simple. Next time you eat, pay attention to each bite. Feel the texture, the flavor, the temperature. When walking, notice the movement of your feet touching the ground, the sensation of the wind on your face. These small daily practices help us slow down and live with more presence. Time doesn't need to be your enemy. When you live in the present, you discover that it can be your greatest ally on the journey of self-awareness. It stops being something that imprisons you and becomes a tool for expansion, allowing you to see your life with greater clarity, make more conscious choices, and live according to your true purpose. Showing your weaknesses is actually one of the greatest demonstrations of strength. Vulnerability is the door that leads to self-awareness because it is in vulnerability that we truly connect with our essence. We live in a society that often values strength, self-sufficiency, and the idea that we must always be in control. We showcase our achievements, our qualities, but we hide our flaws, our fears, and insecurities. What many don't realize is that by trying to appear invulnerable, we are, in fact, distancing ourselves from our truth and our humanity. Vulnerability, this openness to showing our weaknesses, is the key to reconnecting with who we really are. Being vulnerable doesn't mean being weak. On the contrary, it takes immense courage to expose what we prefer to hide. And when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, whether in an intimate conversation, a moment of self-reflection, or even in confronting a truth we've been avoiding, we open the door to authenticity. It is in this exposure of who we truly are, with all our imperfections, that we find the strength to grow and evolve. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you are allowing your true essence to surface. This creates a space for genuine connection with yourself and with others. Think of a time when you shared a deep fear or difficulty with someone you trust. That act of vulnerability likely didn't weaken the relationship, it strengthened it. This happens because when we are vulnerable, we show our humanity, and it is there that true connections are formed. Living with vulnerability also means accepting that we won't always have all the answers, that we will make mistakes, and that we will feel lost at times. But it is precisely in these moments that we find the greatest opportunities for growth. When we acknowledge our flaws, we create space for true transformation. And that is why vulnerability is the key to self-awareness, because it allows us to explore the parts of ourselves that would otherwise remain hidden in the shadows. A practical way to exercise this vulnerability is through writing. Keeping a journal where you can freely express your doubts, fears, frustrations, and desires can be incredibly liberating. You don't have to worry about judgments or expectations. It's a space where you can be who you truly are. Over time, you'll notice that the more open and honest you are with yourself, the clearer the path to your higher self becomes. The journey to find the higher self is eternal, full of discoveries, challenges, and transformation. With each step, you get closer to who you truly are. And the more you connect with this essence, the more your life reflects your true purpose. The awakening of the higher self is not a fixed destination, a finish line where everything suddenly makes sense. It's a walk, a continuous process of learning, growth, and reconnection with our deepest essence. Every experience, every obstacle, and every moment of clarity are essential parts of this journey. And this journey doesn't have to be perfect. On the contrary, it is precisely the stumbles and detours that offer the greatest lessons. As we get closer to our higher self, we begin to notice that life aligns in surprising ways. Synchronicities, those moments when everything seems to fit together like puzzle pieces, become more frequent. This happens because the more connected we are to our inner truth, the more we live in alignment with our purpose. And when we are aligned with this purpose, life begins to flow with greater ease and clarity. But this connection doesn't happen all at once. It is cultivated through small daily choices. Whether by reserving moments of silence, practicing gratitude, taking care of the body, or being vulnerable with yourself, every small step counts. It's as if, throughout life, we are peeling back layers that obscure our vision, allowing our inner light to shine ever brighter. Each conscious choice is an invitation for your higher self to reveal itself. And remember, this journey never ends. There is always more to discover, more to learn, more to awaken. The important thing is not perfection but progress. Every little practice, every moment of reflection, every conscious step brings you closer to your true essence. It's not about reaching a permanent state of enlightenment but about being open to the continuous process of transformation. So I invite you to keep walking. Practice what resonated with you, whether it's a moment of meditation, a walk in nature, or the simple decision to listen more deeply to your emotions. Every act, no matter how small it seems, is a step toward your awakening. And with each step, your life will begin to reflect your true purpose. If this video has awakened something in you, like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe to the channel for more insights on how to live your best life. Your journey is just beginning, and I am here to walk alongside you.